Good afternoon. Today I want to start off with presenting a tool called the cultural-gram. This tool can be beneficial for you to learn and understand more about your culture and cultural background. There are 10 parts to this tool, which if you are okay with, we are going to work through together to identify the different areas and aspects of your culture. This does not have to be completed all at once, and I do not want you to feel rushed when answering and exploring your responses. The boxes do not need to be completed in order, and if some of the topics are uncomfortable or you are not sure, then we can go to the next one and come back to these at the end. First, we will start off by identifying the members of your family, including yourself, in the center of the culturogram. Once we identify the members of your family, we will move on to the first outer box where we will identify your time in the community in which you reside in currently. We can also discuss, if desired, where you spent or which community you grew up in, as this may help identify your values and beliefs that you currently hold. In the next box, we are going to identify what language that is spoken at home and if this is different from the language you speak when you are in your community. This is important to identify because it helps detect any barriers you may have due to language restrictions, if any. The next box, we will identify and list what your health beliefs are. This means that I will have you identify what ways you are you practice attending to your health, whether you believe in taking prescribed or over-counter medications, if vaccines are something you believe to be important or not, and any other health practices you may participate in. For example, natural remedies in place of other means of medication and health practices that you may or may not participate in. Now in the next box, if you are comfortable with it, I'm going to have you identify how any past and or current trauma or crisis events have impacted you. You can go into as much or little detail as you would like. I just want to ensure you are comfortable and feel safe doing so. In this box, I'm going to ask you to identify your contact with your culture and religious institutions, if any, what holidays you participate in, and if there are any specific food and clothing traditions that you may practice that are directly linked to your culture and cultural background. We are now halfway through completing a full culturogram. The next box is where you identify if you have ever experienced oppression, discrimination, bias, or racism due to your culture or in general due to other factors in your life. Now here in this box, you will identify and list your values about education and work, either or both for yourself and or how it is valued in your culture growing up, and maybe, if applicable, identify if it differs between you and other members in your family. Following into the next box, this is where you identify your values about family, structure, power, myths, and rules. Next in this box, if applicable, I want you to identify reasons for relocating from one community, state, country, etc. throughout your life. And here in the last box, I would like to talk about and have you identify your legal status. If applicable, it might be helpful to identify this as contributed to your life situations, your values in education and work, your family structure and rules, and so on. So now I want to thank you for sitting with me and completing this culturogram. Since completing this, do you feel that you now have a clear understanding of who you are, where you came from, and what has impacted your culture, and why you participate the way you do within your culture? So again, thank you for your participation and engagement in this activity. Thanks.